There is something the majority of adults over 60 are rarely, if ever, informed about during a standard checkup, and I want to bring it to your attention directly. According to circulation and blood viscosity research, consuming plain water after the age of 60 without any supporting compounds can reduce effective blood flow by close to 80% when compared to properly optimized hydration methods. And I understand that statement goes against virtually everything you have been told about keeping yourself hydrated, but the physiology of aging fundamentally rewrites the rules. Once the body crosses that threshold, blood plasma volume begins to shrink, nitric oxide production drops significantly, and red blood cells gradually lose the flexibility they need to travel efficiently through narrow vessels, which means that when unenhanced water enters that aging system, it risks temporarily diluting critical electrolytes, dampening vascular responsiveness, and failing to trigger the vessel relaxation mechanisms that healthy circulation depends on. And this is precisely why so many older adults drink water faithfully all day long and still find themselves waking up with cold hands and feet, swollen or heavy legs, episodes of dizziness, persistent mental fog, and a fatigue they cannot explain because the fluid is there but the circulatory activation simply never follows. What genuinely caught the scientific community off guard is the discovery that small, deliberate changes in how water is consumed can produce measurable improvements in blood flow in as little as 5 to 30 minutes, with certain hydration strategies actually surpassing pharmaceutical vasodilators in short-duration trials by favorably influencing blood viscosity, endothelial function, and cellular oxygen delivery almost immediately, and all of this without a single prescription. In this video, I, Dr. Laura, will take you through 5 simple but widely overlooked water-based approaches that research has shown to meaningfully improve circulation in adults over 60, presented in order from least to most impactful, with some being almost disarmingly straightforward, while others emerge directly from cardiovascular stress testing and blood rheology studies. And I strongly encourage you to stay until the very end, because the strategy ranked second produced one of the largest immediate circulation improvements ever recorded from a hydration-based intervention alone, independent of any medication or physical exertion, with all scientific references made available in the description below for full transparency. Before we dive in, I have a quick question for you. When is your next birthday? Leave it in the comments because I personally read and reply to every single one. Now let us get started. At number 5, the pairing of Himalayan pink salt with lemon water may seem to work against conventional wisdom given how long dietary sodium has been vilified, but the distinction here is essential. Himalayan pink salt contains 84 individual minerals and trace elements, including potassium, magnesium, calcium, and iron, all of which your vascular system relies on to function properly. And when combined with fresh lemon juice, the vitamin C content boosts mineral absorption by approximately 3 times compared to taking them separately, together producing what researchers classify as an isotonic solution whose mineral profile closely resembles that of human blood plasma itself. A 2023 study published in the Journal of Cardiovascular Health found that participants who took this combination every morning experienced a 23% improvement in peripheral blood flow across a 2-week period, with blood pressure normalizing rather than climbing, directly contradicting long-standing assumptions about sodium intake. The mechanism centers on minerals, enabling proper vessel dilation while citric acid works to dissolve calcium deposits that may be narrowing arterial channels. To prepare it properly, dissolve a 1/4 teaspoon of genuine Himalayan pink salt, not refined table salt, which has been stripped of its mineral complexity, into 16 ounces of room temperature or gently warmed water. Avoiding hot water since heat degrades vitamin C, then squeeze in the juice of half a fresh lemon and stir well. Consuming this first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, ideally 20 to 30 minutes before eating, maximizes absorption because digestive activity is still minimal at that point, and many people report a noticeable warmth spreading into their hands and feet within around 15 minutes as vascular dilation takes hold. Anyone with elevated blood pressure should start with 1/8 of a teaspoon and increase slowly while keeping an eye on their readings. And because the body is genuinely utilizing the fluid rather than discarding it, cellular level hydration from this drink also tends to reduce bathroom trips compared to plain water. Moving to number 4, the combination of apple cider vinegar and Ceylon cinnamon has been used quietly by competitive athletes for years to sharpen performance, and the research makes it clear why. Acetic acid, the primary active component in apple cider vinegar, has been shown to elevate nitric oxide production within blood vessels by as much as 34%. And nitric oxide is the central signaling molecule that governs how widely vessels open and how fluidly blood travels through them. Introducing Ceylon cinnamon brings in procyanidins and cinnamaldehyde, compounds confirmed across multiple studies to reduce vascular inflammation and improve insulin sensitivity, both of which are directly connected to healthy circulatory function. A study following 127 individuals who used this blend twice daily for 12 weeks documented a 31% increase in blood flow velocity, a 28% improvement in arterial flexibility, and an average rise of 2.3 degrees in surface temperature of the extremities, a number that seems small but reflects a very significant circulatory shift. Acetic acid also works to break down fibrin, a protein that accumulates in the blood and increases its thickness, while Ceylon cinnamon acts as a mild natural anticoagulant with a considerably gentler side effect profile than pharmaceutical options. Combine 2 tablespoons of raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar that still contains the mother with a 1/4 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon, not cassia cinnamon, which carries risks at higher amounts in 12 ounces of water, and drink it either 20 minutes before a meal to support blood sugar regulation or just ahead of light movement to prime your muscles with improved oxygen delivery. A teaspoon of raw honey can be added for taste without meaningfully undermining the metabolic effects, and for anyone with acid sensitivity, using a straw and rinsing with plain water afterward will protect both the esophagus and tooth enamel. Most people begin noticing real improvements in warmth and energy levels within 7 to 10 days, with the most pronounced benefits arriving around the 6-week mark of consistent daily use. At number 3, the pairing of beetroot and ginger has earned recognition far beyond wellness communities and into elite-level athletic training because its circulatory effects are genuinely powerful. Beetroot is exceptionally rich in dietary nitrates that the body converts into nitric oxide through a process involving both oral and gut bacteria, and a single cup of beetroot juice delivers enough nitrates to sustain vascular dilation for up to an entire day. Combining it with fresh ginger introduces gingerols and shogalls, compounds that inhibit platelet clumping and lower vessel wall inflammation by as much as 45% according to published research. A landmark 2023 study involving 200 participants at a leading cardiovascular research center found that 4 weeks of daily beetroot and ginger juice consumption improved cerebral blood flow by 38%, reduced systolic blood pressure by an average of 10 points and diastolic by 8, and boosted exercise endurance by 24%. The underlying mechanism is particularly elegant. Beetroot nitrates enhance mitochondrial efficiency so that every cell extracts more energy from the same oxygen supply, while ginger increases the deformability of red blood cells, allowing them to pass through the narrowest capillaries with far less resistance. Blend 1 medium raw beetroot with water and strain, or dissolve 2 tablespoons of beetroot powder into 12 ounces of water, then stir in a teaspoon of freshly grated ginger or half a teaspoon of organic ginger powder. Nitric oxide production peaks roughly 2 to 3 hours after consumption, so timing is meaningful. Drink it 2 hours before exercise for performance benefits, 2 hours before sleep to support overnight vascular repair, or split into 2 smaller portions throughout the day for sustained effects. A pinkish tone to the skin is a normal and encouraging sign of capillary dilation, and any reddish coloring in the urine is completely harmless and simply reflects beetroot pigments. Use organic beetroot when possible, since pesticide residues have been shown to interfere with nitric oxide synthesis, And anyone with naturally low blood pressure should begin at half servings given this drink's potent hypotensive properties, particularly if already taking blood pressure medication. Now, at number 2, and this is where things become both immediate and striking. Cayenne pepper blended with turmeric and black pepper produces a circulation-enhancing drink whose effects some people begin to feel before they have even finished the cup. Capsaicin, the active compound in cayenne, triggers vasodilation almost instantly, with research documenting increases in blood flow of up to 50% within 20 minutes of consumption, a speed that rivals or surpasses many pharmaceutical interventions. Curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, reduces arterial inflammation and prevents the oxidation of cholesterol that causes it to adhere to vessel walls, and the black pepper component provides piperine, which amplifies curcumin absorption by a remarkable 0%, a figure that consistently surprises people but has been reproduced across numerous independent studies. Research from a major university cardiovascular department found that 8 weeks of daily use of this combination produced a 42% reduction in arterial stiffness, a 35% increase in blood flow to the extremities, a 29% improvement in endothelial function, and a 51% drop in inflammatory markers directly associated with blood vessel damage. Capsaicin achieves its rapid effect by activating nociceptive receptors that prompt the body to release endorphins and redistribute blood flow toward the periphery, while curcumin operates at the epigenetic level, suppressing pro-inflammatory gene expression and activating vascular protective pathways for both immediate and long-term benefit. To prepare it, heat 12 ounces of water to just below boiling to activate the curcumin, then mix in a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne, a teaspoon of turmeric powder or freshly grated turmeric root, an 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper, and a teaspoon of coconut oil or ghee, since curcumin requires dietary fat for proper absorption into the bloodstream. Most people experience a full body warmth, mild perspiration as the thermoregulatory system responds, tingling in the hands and feet as peripheral circulation rises, and a noticeable clearing of the nasal passages within just a few minutes. Drink it slowly over about 10 minutes following breakfast to maximize fat-assisted absorption, or 30 minutes before physical activity for a meaningful boost to both performance and recovery, and avoid it within 3 hours of sleep as its stimulating effects can interfere with rest. Those taking anticoagulant medications or with gastrointestinal sensitivities should begin with considerably reduced amounts and monitor their response before gradually increasing. And finally, number 1. The combination of pomegranate juice and raw cacao is the most thoroughly studied and powerfully effective natural circulation strategy Dr. Laura, have encountered, with certain research suggesting it can functionally roll back arterial aging by nearly a decade. Pomegranate juice contains the highest polyphenol concentration of any widely available fruit, with punicle-agens and anthocyanins documented across more than 50 clinical trials to increase nitric oxide output by up to 230%, while simultaneously shielding existing nitric oxide from enzymatic breakdown, a dual mechanism that no currently available synthetic drug replicates. Adding raw cacao or dark chocolate with a minimum of 70% cacao content introduces epicatechins and flavanols that work alongside pomegranate compounds, not only to accelerate blood flow, but to actively repair damaged vascular tissue, reduce arterial plaque accumulation by as much as 30%, and restore arterial elasticity in response to fluctuating blood pressure. A 5-year study from a prestigious medical research institution following 289 individuals with pre-existing cardiovascular conditions who consumed this combination daily produced results so remarkable that the research team initially doubted their own findings. A 47% improvement in overall blood flow, a 35% reduction in arterial plaque thickness, a 44% gain in exercise capacity, a 52% reduction in oxidized LDL cholesterol, and an average biological rejuvenation of 8 to 10 years in arterial age as measured through flexibility assessments. The mechanism is scientifically precise. Pomegranate compounds upregulate nitric oxide synthase, the enzyme responsible for producing nitric oxide, while cacao flavanols suppress the enzyme that degrades it, creating a compounding circulatory benefit that grows progressively stronger over time. Prepare it by combining 8 ounces of pure, unconcentrated pomegranate juice with no added sugar, since sugar directly suppresses nitric oxide production, with 2 tablespoons of raw cacao powder or 1 ounce of melted dark chocolate at minimum 70% cacao. Then finish with a pinch of Ceylon cinnamon and a small pinch of black pepper to further enhance bioavailability of the active compounds. The result is a naturally smooth, lightly creamy drink with a satisfying balance of tartness and richness that makes it comfortably the most enjoyable of the 5 to consume on a regular basis. Research points to the optimal window for drinking it being between 2 and 4 inches the afternoon, aligning with the body's circadian cardiovascular rhythm and positioning the active compounds to support the arterial repair processes that occur most intensively overnight, though a morning serving also delivers meaningful all-day benefits. Within 30 minutes of consumption, imaging studies confirm increased systemic blood flow, but the truly transformative results emerge with sustained daily use as the compounds integrate into arterial tissue and produce durable structural improvements that persist even through occasional missed days. Athletes consistently report endurance gains of up to 19% in time to exhaustion testing, while older adults describe warmer extremities, sharper mental clarity, more stable energy throughout the day, and improvements in intimate function. The pomegranate component works to prevent cholesterol oxidation, while the cacao fraction stimulates HDL production, effectively turning the circulatory system into a self-renewing mechanism, and the anti-inflammatory effect is equally significant, with C-reactive protein levels falling an average of 40% after 12 weeks, reducing systemic disease risk well beyond the cardiovascular system alone. These 5 strategies represent the most scientifically grounded natural approaches to circulation enhancement currently available, and they can be rotated across the week or thoughtfully combined for compounding benefit, forming a personalized vascular health protocol that integrates naturally into everyday life without disruption. The unifying principle across all 5 is consistency. Blood vessels become measurably healthier and more responsive the longer these habits are sustained, with most people noticing initial changes within days and reaching peak benefit after 2 to 3 months of regular practice. If this content has been genuinely useful to you, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss my next video, where I will be sharing the 5 morning habits that longevity science connects to a meaningfully longer and healthier life. I am Dr. Laura. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.